Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Today what we've got three things, so three separate things here that are key to becoming a good dart player. So what I want to talk to you today about is three separate things that you need to do to become a really, really good dart player. Now obviously if you're comfortable going to the pub once a week and chucking and you're not very good and you don't really care about being good, then obviously this is not the sort of thing for you. The Dynamite Dave way still can be, because it can help you no matter how many times a week you play, just to make yourself that little bit better. But obviously this is the sort of thing that will take you to the next level. So number one, so the first and foremost thing for a good dart player is attitude. Attitude is absolutely vital to you becoming a good dart player. If you're one of these blokes in the pub that knows everything and everybody else is wrong and you're right, you are never going to improve. For the simple reason is, without change, improvement is impossible. So if you think you know best and you think that there is no right way to throw darts, you should just throw darts the way that you're comfortable, and you can't accept the fact that if there's a right way to kick a football, if there's a right way to throw a rugby ball, if there's a right way to hold a cricket bat, if there's a right way to swing a golf club, that as sure as night follows day, there's a right way to throw a dart. It's common sense. The only way that you can argue against it is using your own feelings, your feelings. And as I've said on many occasions, facts don't give a about your feelings. Facts are facts, and if there's a right way to do something, then that will be found at some point. When darts started to become like a bit of a sport and what have you, and played in the pubs, people have just thrown the way that they've thrown. Nobody's said, is there a right way to do this? Until I came along, which was about probably 12 or 13 years ago now. It was about 15 or 16 years ago when I actually started the Dynamite Dave way, making that realisation through something very, very simple that my wife said to me. Dave, there's got to be a right way to throw darts. And never a truer word spoken. There's got to be a right way to throw darts. And I believe that I found that way. Something that, if you were around in the 80s, we had it from the football players, and it was caught and it was on all over the TV, and it was promoting PMA, what they call PMA, which is positive mental attitude. So basically, I can, I will, I am. I can throw darts well, I will turn up and do my practicing, and I can become a champion if that's what I want to do. But again, you've got to put the legwork in. The amount of times that I've had people, even up here, coaching them, and they've come in and they've tried the Dynamite Dave way, they've not quite got it right, and they've said, oh, well, I've gone back to my old way. I've come to see you because I really want to do this. I believe in it, but I can't get it right. And within 5 or 10 minutes, I've had them chucking really, really well. So it just proves to me, and it's proved it hundreds, if not thousands of times, that the Dynamite Dave way does work. There's a reason why there's so many followers of the channel, and there's a reason why there's so many people doing it now, including the board management and what have you, because everything that I do is common sense. So what you need to do for your attitude is always be open to learning. If somebody comes to you with an idea, what we use is something that the youngsters nowadays think is magic, and it's called critical thinking. So what you do is you listen to each and every side of a story, and then you think to yourself, right, what makes most sense? Does it actually make common sense to you? that throwing a dart like this all over the place and wobbling everywhere, that is a good way to throw a dart. If you actually think about it, standing up on one foot and leaning forwards and being all unstable like this, is that a really good way to stand? No, it isn't. It's all common sense, and it's all something that should just click with you instantly. You should just think to yourself, that doesn't make sense. Why am I stood up on one foot with just my back toe on the floor to gain an extra centimetre towards the board, but become 25 to 30% less stable? And that follows on to other things that we could talk about, which is the board never moves, only you do. And it just branches out and branches out. And the videos that I make over the next few weeks or months will include all these aspects. So that's the first thing that you need, is a good attitude. Always be open to learning. Always be open to trying something new, right? But when you try something new, do not do 4 or 5 visits and go, oh, this is garbage, it don't work. Because let me put this to you this way, right? If I said to you, I want you to learn, let's say you've never tried to speak French before, or you know nothing about French or Spanish or any other language, it doesn't matter what it is, and I say to you, right, there's a book, there's a video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 hours and I expect you to be able to speak that language fluently. I'm going to give you 24 hours and I expect you to be able to write fluently in it and converse fluently in it and be able to take a full oral and written test in that language in 24 hours. Now, if I said that to you, you'd think I was off my tree. So why do people think that if they have a go, not only my way, let's just say that it's nothing to do with me, say a different coach has give you some things to do that he believes will improve your throwing, yeah? You go away, why on earth would anybody ever think to themselves, oh, I've had 4 or 5 visits, it's garbage this, it doesn't work for me. Well, it's not going to, is it? If you're learning something totally new, there's no way that you're going to be able to do that in 24 hours or 4 or 5 visits or 15 or 20 visits. You've got to stick at it. How long does it take to learn a language? So if we say throwing darts with all its aspects is a new language, you would probably be able to do a bit of pidgin French or a bit of pidgin Spanish within probably the first 2 weeks. So if you give the Dynamite Dave way a go, give it at least 2 weeks and see what happens. But put the legwork in. Do the 10, 15 minutes to start off with, 15, 20 minutes as you start to roll along, and it gets better and better. Start off using the stance and the basic throw, and then further on down the line, when you see the results, which you will do, then what you can do is start introducing the grip and the serving hand, the way the fingers fall away on the serving hand when you do, to make everything so it all links in together. And if you do that, it'll make it so as you progress, you will see the progress quite vividly. Probably for the first 12 months. You'll be a really good dart player by then, but then obviously the smaller little increments make a big difference. So when you get your grouping really good and you're just on the outside of the wire, and then you're just on the inside of the wire, and that is where it all sort of starts to click, and it all starts to work really, really well. So throw your first dart in, and then your second dart at your first dart's flight, and then your third dart at your first dart's flight, and there you go. Right, so that was number 1, that was the attitude and how to get the right attitude, and just be open to suggestions and what have you. Think about them deeply rather than just thinking straight away, first response, oh, it's garbage that, I'm not interested in that, it's rubbish. Rather than thinking that, sit down and have a serious think about it and then move forward. Right, so second one is practice. If you want to become a really good dart player, as again, I'll say the same thing again, if you just want to play darts on a Sunday afternoon in the pub and you're quite happy hitting a 25-30 average and you're not frustrated by it, so basically one of my sayings, if you're crap and you're comfortable being crap, you stay comfortably crap. And that's all you'll ever be, because you will never get any better without putting any effort in. It's as simple as that. No matter how rubbish, you might have a natural talent for it, but like Jockey Wilson and people like that, they're 1 in a million. That's why when you go down the pub, you don't see people throwing like Michael Van Gerwen. Because if this was a dead easy game to master, then everybody would be playing at the same level, just throwing their own way, wouldn't they? And it doesn't happen. So your practice is absolutely imperative once you've got the techniques right. Once you've got the techniques right and what have you, it's really, really important that you keep that going. I've noticed me, when I go on holiday, when I come back off holiday, it takes me a good half an hour, 45 minutes to get back into the swing of it, to get that arm going properly. If I've been away for a fortnight, a couple of days, it can take me 5 minutes or something, and then I actually everything sort of clicks. I start throwing, warm up, as you know, throwing at the ball, bump, 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 and all of a sudden it starts to click and I start hitting. Every time I go to the board, I hit at least one. And then every time I go to the board, I hit 1, 2. And then as I'm warming up further, I'm getting 3 in the outside, maybe 1 on the inside, and then 2 on the inside. And then I think to myself, right, I'm warmed up enough, and now I'll go off. And then what I do is I go up to the treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, treble 19, treble 18, treble 17. We always use the 17s. Why? Because it includes a 1 in it. It's 51, isn't it? So it's dead easy to keep that thingy going, because obviously not everybody's fantastic at maths. Right, another vital part of your practicing is do it like you mean it, right? Don't go into your garage and have 2 or 3 visits and then walk away. Because I know a lot of people do that. Go into the bedroom, they'll have 3 darts or 6 darts or 9 darts and walk away. Don't do that. If you want to improve, you must adopt what we call structured practice. So basically, as I've just said, do it like you mean it. What I do is I get into my shirt, I get my proper, what I call my Danko dancing shoes. I put my shoes on that I normally play darts in, and I might wear a pair of jogging bottoms or something. It doesn't really matter, the trousers, because they don't really have that much effect on it. Your shirt does. Whatever you do, don't throw darts in long sleeves. It's a nonsense, because if you throw darts in long sleeves, and we used to see this in the 60s, you get an old guy on there in his cardigan and his flat cap, chucking darts, and then he'd get through the first round, he'd go to the next round, and it's getting a bit warm now, you see, because it's getting to about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. The place is getting a bit packed, there's loads of fans there, and he's getting hot, so what does he do? Takes his cardigan off and tries to throw in his shirt, and he can't do it, because the weight of that arm of the cardigan has altered the way that he's throwing the darts. Which it does, it's a different weight on your arm. It's like you losing weight overnight, or within 10 or 15 seconds, it's like you're losing weight. So always throw in your dart shirt. Now, throwing in a t-shirt instead of your dart shirt is all right for what I call an informal practice. It still should be structured, but it's all right for an informal practice. But when I'm coming up to a competition, like the online competition that I posted a couple ago there against Phil Brown, go into that like I mean it, and I tend to play really well when I do that, and I played really well on that day. That 154 in the opening leg, absolutely fantastic checkout, over the moon with that. I'm not a professional dart player, I'm a coach, and I'm a coach because that is what I want to be. It's the passion that I've always had, and that's why I do that. That's why I'd rather be a coach than an actual professional dart player. I just find that's my passion, that's my calling. So if you want to be a really good dart player, the second thing that you really, really do have to realise is structured practice is the key to stepping up those levels. It's the stairs. The better your physical ability becomes, the stronger your mental game gets, because you feel more confident. And the DD board management sheets are what will take you to that sort of level. It'll improve that fantastically, because it's a totally different and new way of finishing. It's something that some people have said all sorts of awful things about me over, but it's not what they think it is. They're turning around and saying that a double finish, yeah, but it's not what they think. They think a double finish is double top. So they're just totally it just shows they haven't got the mental capacity to understand what I'm talking about. But if you buy the sheets, you certainly will. And it'll make a massive difference to the way that you play darts, an absolutely massive difference. And just a word, if you want them, all you've got to do is either email me. If you're outside the UK, email me. I'll give you a way to pay for them, and then I'll email them to you. And then it's as simple as that. I can email them to you, and then you can print them off, or you can use them on your device. It's entirely up to yourself. If you have a punt and you read them, it'll blow your brains out. It'll change the way that you finish forever. So as we were saying, structured practice is one of the massive keys to becoming a good dart player. the more professional you approach it, or the more serious you are about it, don't have to be professional, you know what I mean though. The more serious you are about it, the more positive you are about it, the more positively you'll play, and the more positive outcomes you'll get. Right, today's third and final tip to becoming a really good dart player is once you get, if you're doing the Dynamite Dave way, I'm just talking about that for a few seconds and then the rest of it is general. If you're doing the Dynamite Dave way, once you get your grouping constructed and your grouping's really good, and then you've done the moving it around the board, so you've got the actual game itself, so you can actually hit the targets that you're throwing at, get out there and use it. There is absolutely no substitute for getting out there and playing. And the thing to do is get your darts and go somewhere where you've never been before. So basically, if you live in a town, go to different pubs. Instead of just going to your own local and playing your own local people all the time where you feel comfortable, get out of your comfort zone. Once you've gone to a few pubs and you've got a little bit more comfortable about it, then it's, again, we're starting another journey now. And the next journey is, quite obviously, going into small competitions. Like, we have one here that's held in the Queen's about once a month. It's a tenner in, and you get 50, 60 quid out if you win. But it's not that. It's the fact of competing against people who you don't know and that are unknown entities. Because if you play against the same people every week in, week out, and I get this because I get loads of messages off, like, what I consider to be my players, they're like my big family. And I get loads of messages off people and they say, right, I'm going to play such and it's really evident in it. Oh, I'm playing Joe such and such a body. He's like the top of the league, or he's the best player in our pub. It's all right doing that, playing Joe all the time, but you then start to get comfortable with the outcome. So if Joe's or Fred or Simon's better than you and you're used to them beating you, it's very difficult for you to get to the point where you're going to beat them. So you're far better off going and playing not only against the regulars, you still do that obviously because they're part of your league, but you need to get out and start playing in different places. Get out and start playing in some of these small competitions. If you live in somewhere like Birmingham or Manchester or London or Cardiff or anywhere where there's a city or a town near you, a big town, you're going to find at least 5 or 6 pubs in there with dartboards. So just hop around them, go to the different ones, find out if you can on Facebook and places like that, or by going into the pub sometime when they're not busy and asking the barman, just say, do you have a darts league in here? What night do they play? So what you do is you come in and you just elbow them and say, listen lads, is it all right if I join in? Simple as that, and you'll find around 99.9% of the country, if you ask people, can you join in when you're playing darts, especially if you go in a friendly manner, there's very, very few places where it'll knock you back, very few. So those are the 3 things that you've got to get under your belt to become a really good dart player. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment down below. Great video, Dave. Anything. It just really helps me with the algorithms, and the algorithms mean that I get spread more further afield. I get more subscribers, and it's just better for the channel. It helps keep it going. Right, so thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, lads and lasses, and there's never a truer word said. You'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey!